Welcome to the Cyberculture Cafe series by Cyber Talks, presented by eSentire. I'm Andy La Laguna and I'm here with my friend and colleague, John Moretti. Together, we're excited to introduce you to some fascinating members of the eSentire family. In this series, you'll get to know their story, the challenges, their successes, how they got here, what motivates and drives them to deliver the best service experience in the industry. This is Cyberculture Cafe. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cyberculture Cafe podcast, where John and Andy will introduce you to another fascinating member of the eSentire family, how they got here, what motivates and drives them to deliver the best service experience in the industry. Welcome, Quentin Simmons. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Quentin, it's a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. You know what this just reminded me of, Andy? You know what your voice reminds me of? I keep saying this every time we're doing this, but did you ever watch a show called The Actor Studio? And I forgot that James Lipton, I think, was his name. You sound like James Lipton, and he says it just like you. When it pauses, it said, "Welcome, Quentin." It's like,
I think I know who James Lipton is, actually.
Yeah. So it's like it just reminds me of that.
It's all the mic. It's all the mic.
It is. It's
there is a particular sweet spot on this mic that's literally has to be six inches away from the front of the mic, and if you're in the right spot, it's probably one of the nicest sounding for voice. It's not my normal voice at the moment. I'm still full of the cold, so I apologize for that, and hopefully you don't catch it. So, Quentin, let's get kicked off and started here. Obviously, welcome to the Lunatic Asylum. That is the podcast. Give us a little bit of background about what your current roles and responsibilities are, and so maybe how you got here in eSentire to do that role.
Yeah, so I am the principal investigator of the Digital Forensics and Intelligence Incident Response Team. Our team is comprised of, I think now we're five, what I call the Navy SEALs of the organization, the guys who we swim underwater and we go, perform the very bad task. And I'm the principal investigator of that. So I kind of lead when it gets really bad, and when there's a really angry customer, whether they're angry at eSentire, frustrated, their house is on fire, whatever it is, I'm usually I'm in on those.
Primarily, you have the fun job. You have the fun job. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, love that.
I have to visit the psych ward often to keep my my mind even. So because I think I've been called names, which professionally got heard of. I've had all of it, but ultimately my job is, in the beginning they may call me something bad, but in the end they'll love me. So
there you go. So let me ask you right off the top of the bat, how do you handle that? How do you handle somebody giving you a hard time, calling you names, saying, I can only imagine. Some people, I've heard people before, but I can only imagine what you must hear. It must be frustrating because you're trying to help them, right? You're trying to say, look, let me show you what we're doing, how it's happening. I mean, like I said, your job's not fun. There's no glory in it for sure. But when they're calling you names, how do you handle that?
Well, a lot of it is because of what I come from. So someone calling me a name, unless it's really derogatory,
right?
Someone calling me a name really doesn't bother me.
Right.
I come from the inner city of Detroit, which, if you know anything about Detroit, it's a rough area. The time frame that I grew up was a very rough time. So dealing with a little bit of, name calling is almost laughable to me. So
right.
So I also understand the frustration because I worked so many cases throughout my career that I understand. I've been on both sides of the fence, so I understand. Sure. When you're really frustrated and you feel like someone may have been had some type of factor as to your house being on fire, you're going to be frustrated with anyone you come across. So
yeah.
I'm very patient in those situations. Yeah.
I'm sure it takes a special individual, like you mentioned, to be patient and to sit there and listen to somebody yelling at you. I mean, that must, I don't know. For me, and maybe it's because I I don't want to say it's because I live on the East Coast here in New Jersey, but you're familiar. I'm close to New York, and I just have no patience. I'm not gonna lie.
So
I'm
personally,
not gonna lie.
I don't have any patience. When it comes to certain things, I don't. I'm a
I
very
don't.
impatient person, but with
Yeah.
things like that, I understand. So I tend to be a little bit more patient. But
Yeah.
then when I'm off the meeting with the client, if I feel like someone at eSentire or whoever it was dropped the ball, yeah, I'm very impatient. So
Yeah, no, listen, you unfortunately your team you can't drop the ball. It's funny. I was doing a presentation, and I got one tomorrow too. And one of the things they're talking about is threats and things. And like threat actors can try over and over and over again to get into your environment to do something, but you guys, you have to be right every single time you do something. They look at you like you can't be wrong. You can't make a mistake ever, right? You have to be right because everything hangs in that balance. So I mean, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, that's a lot. That's hard.
it is. With what we do, you have to be more of a matter of fact. You can't come up with theory, no hypothesis. You have to have definitive evidence, or you might as well not utter it. I mean, and that's the thing. You have a lot of people in this field. I've worked for other organizations where you have someone on the team that, they'll pull something from a deep place that's not true. And if it's not factual information and you don't have evidence, you can't pull it from that deep place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You've mentioned, Quentin, that you've been at this a little while. How long have you been at this?
So I've been in incident response for 11 years now, 10 and a half, 11 years. Prior to that, I was in red team. So I did a lot of red team work. And prior to that, my first actual job, I say when I went pro out of college, when I actually went pro, my first real job was I was a network security analyst. So
Mhm.
I
Another fun job.
that was a little bit easier because all I
Right.
did was just like security infrastructure, network engineering type stuff, which to this day it still helps me just understanding layer 3, understanding how networks work. So there's a lot of people in IR that doesn't have a clue as to how networks really work. So I think that's really helped me. It was literally my first job out of college, and it to this day, it helps me big time.
So
That
what
that
what
base
what
is good.
what sort of
Yeah.
sorry, John. What sort of motivates you then, Quentin? Because obviously customers can be rude,
Yeah.
par for the course. Some customers can actually be a polite on occasion. It's not often, I grant you, but that does happen. But what what fires you up then out of that job role if the majority of the time it starts with abuse? Is it that turning it to success?
Yeah.
So I did play basketball my entire life. I played basketball in college. I was very competitive, and I was always a leader. So um, those same work ethics is the same thing I deal with today. So my team is relying on me. Um, I want to ensure that we're winning, right? But I know that we have an opponent ahead of us that wants to chop our heads off. So how do I prepare us to defeat this opponent ahead of us? Sometimes the opponent may be the client, not the actual threat actor, because sometimes a client can hinder your investigation. So how do we get around this and fully execute whatever our strategy is? Um, in incident response, we have a lot of playbooks, run books. We have things written down. But I'll tell you that while that's a foundation for other analysts, for me, when I come in there, every situation is dynamic. It's never static.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe dealing with a client that doesn't want to hear anything I have to say.
Yeah.
How do you manage that then? Because obviously differentiating between the threat actor and the customer being the blockers in your progress forward, how do you what sort of techniques do you apply to manage that so that you can continue to make progress?
So I have two daughters, two little daughters, and a lot of dealing with the client is like me dealing with my daughters. I have to be patient, and I have to also instill confidence in them so they'll hear me. Right. So for me, when I'm dealing with a client that's really frustrated, their house is on fire, they're blaming eSentire, IR isn't moving fast enough, whatever it is, I build trust with the customer by allowing them to communicate their frustrations, really pointing out that I'm listening to them, and then showing them that I'm a subject matter expert and I'm going to be their best way of getting out of this.
Yeah.
Build trust. So the only way they're going to listen and then not go in one ear and out of the other is if they trust anything that I'm saying. And then I tell them, hey, if you don't believe me, go ahead and just look me up. Go ahead. I've been doing this for quite some time. And just I just need you to trust me here. So just building trust with the client. That's how I usually mend the relationship between eSentire and client or whatever it is. And then, from there, the investigation is also building trust. You need to have some results fairly quickly for the client to know, hey, they're actually working.
Yep, you're serious. Yeah, 100%. So I have two questions for you. So 2 daughters, my God. How old, if you don't mind me asking? Because I have 2 daughters myself. I have a stepdaughter and a real daughter. I got to tell you, girls are worse than boys.
I don't have boys yet.
Oof.
I have a 7 and a 5-year-old.
Oh, brutal. They're tough, boy. They're like 7 going on 21.
The 7-year-old believes she believes she's her mom. Her mom is already a pain for me.
Oh yeah.
She believes she's her mom, and so dealing with her is just like sometimes I have to walk away from a 7-year-old. She won the battle, and I just walk away.
If you can deal with them, you know what? You could probably see any customer coming that way because the girls, and your own children, it's like, oh my God, they're killing me. Because, you want to be a good parent. You want to protect them all the time. I mean, it's not always easy. But if you can listen to them and understand what their point of view is sometimes, and it's not easy to do, I mean, you can help them out. Another thing, so you said you play basketball. How tall are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 6'4".
So why are you not a professional basketball player? What are you doing here?
Well, I tell you, I'm 6 knee surgeries in right now. I'm 6 knee surgeries in. So
wow.
I had a big injury my freshman year, and it kind of just derailed me. I became a role player. I came in as a star, and I became a role player. So at that point, it was really just about, hey, I already knew
that's the hidden skill of the professional sportsman.
Doing, so
not getting injured.
Try to win what I can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Wow. Incredible. Wow. You look like a football player. I mean, I can see you got big shoulders. You look like you're like.
Yeah, I was always on the bigger side. So I was a point guard that was 200 pounds. So I'm 220 now. But yeah, I did play football as well, but I hated football because I'm from Michigan.
Right.
So super cold. So I just imagine playing tackle, hitting someone as hard as you can.
Not for me. Yeah.
No, put me inside. I don't really like this. So,
yeah.
So that's
awesome. So, learning more about what you guys do and what you do personally and stuff. Like I mentioned it kind of before. It's not there's no fortune and glory in your role, unfortunately, right? But you are the magic that happens behind the scenes at eSentire. I mean, the teams that do all the work. The SOC. The incident handlers like you guys, and everything you guys doing together with our threat response teams and those experts. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm sure it's a difficult, like I said, you're talking about all those difficult things and customers and everything. Sometimes you have to listen to them, but knowing that information, what gets you up in the morning and says, God, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm ready to go. Let's, what motivates you to be positive when it might be I hate to say it, a shitstorm when you come into that job today. I mean, who knows what you're going to run into?
Well, part of it is the competitive nature. I'm a very, very competitive person. I also have dogs. So one of my hobbies is I breed and show Rottweilers. So 6 a.m., my dogs literally starts howling, like literally howling, like how chickens and roosters in the morning gets the doodle doodle. Yeah, my dogs howl. So that they make sure I wake up, right? That's how I get my day started. I love sun, so I go outside, I get sun. I don't drink coffee, I don't like caffeine, anything like that. So I get a little bit of sunshine, and then I just say, hey, it's time to get in the saddle. And I look at it like it's a competition every day. It's how can we win? So it's and my team it's come a long way. Uh, Someone that really helps me is my director. I don't know if you know who Larry is.
Oh
Larry.
yeah. Yep.
So Larry's an ex-athlete. He was a hockey guy, so he's competitive. We're on the same page. I think we're the only guys that play sports on our entire team. So it helps having him because we're always the first ones in line. Like let's go, let's do this, right? So yeah, it's definitely a motivation.
Let's take one sideline there on the dogs. I'm fascinated with the dogs. How long have you been doing that?
My first breeding was 2011. I bought my first Rottweiler myself in 2009 ish, 2008, 2009.
Always Rottweilers.
Rottweilers only. I don't have anything else. Any other breed? I don't trust any other breed. It's the Rottweiler is a very intelligent breed. Historically, had a bad reputation for being mean, but again, I have two little daughters, and I'll tell you, they've never even growled at my daughters. So it's a great breed, very strong. So
Yeah, they always do get a bad rap. I know, but they're not truly that way. I don't know how they got those bad raps, to be honest with you, but
90s,
that's awesome.
the 90s were really rough for Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Movies, you get
Yes,
movies.
you're right. Movies. Yeah.
Cujo. I don't know if you know what Cujo.
Oh yeah, Cujo. Yeah.
So people,
Yeah.
every Rottweiler is Cujo. So
Yeah, you're right.
that's
You're
not-
right. And
Well, I mean, look, in everyone's in the general public's defence, who don't necessarily know the Rottweilers particularly well. I mean, one of my old roles, we used to have company cars, and we used to garage near Heathrow. On the other side of the M25, there's a trading estate and there's garages, and we would get the cars repaired there and serviced there. And this guy would guard his yard with two Rottweilers, 210-pound Rottweilers, two of them. These things were monsters. That no. They looked mental. A 210-pound dog is a huge piece of meat. When that thing comes running towards you because he recognizes you, you're going to be a little bit scared, because a 210-pound coming at you at pace, you're going down. Whichever way you look at it, you're going to hit the ground. Oh man, they were the nicest things ever.
Yeah,
absolutely the nicest.
They look very
ever.
intimidating, but I'll tell you, my biggest Rottweiler here will literally roll on his back if there was a threat. If someone wanted to steal a TV out of my house, he'd be like, "Come on, you want me to take you?" I mean,
yeah.
It's how it is. So.
That's awesome. So now, do you breed them? You sell them?
Yeah, I breed them. I only breed maybe once a year because of the job. I don't really have much time, but I show, I train, I show. One of my females is in Texas right now. So
I was just going to ask. So you live in Texas?
No, I live in Florida.
Oh, you live in Florida. Okay.
My dogs travel the world. This past summer, I was in Italy with one of my dogs at the World
What?
Cup. So yeah, I
wow.
travel. Yeah,
That's incredible.
It's a real thing. I don't just have dogs sitting in the yard. No, they work.
Yeah. And they perform well, do they?
Oh yeah. They bring in their own money. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
That's
well
incredible. Done. Wow.
Nicely done.
So yeah, they usually get me up in the morning. So
so they get you going.
Yeah, my daughters they manage themselves for the most part, except for my 5-year-old. She's definitely a needy one, but
it ain't gonna change.
Yes,
so, it's brutal, bro. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but as if you weren't busy enough, Quentin.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, dogs and the kids. That's a lot of work right there at home. It's no joke. It's a lot of work.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Wow.
So what do you do, Quentin, then to keep up to speed? I mean, I know you've mentioned Larry's a great support. What else sort of comes across your sort of timetable to keep you fresh and sharp?
Yeah, it's to stay sharp. I read a lot. So I read a lot, and I have some great resources. So professionally, my resources that I've had for 15 to 20 years have really helped me. I have a couple of buddies that are international that are really doing some big things. We talk almost every day. Uh,
That's good.
and
Yeah,
we have, we share a lot of information with each other. On the weekends, if I'm not with the family, or I play basketball still, that's my therapy. That's the basketball gym is the psych ward for me.
yeah.
So if I'm not doing that, I randomly just study ransomware binaries. And I study ransomware groups, and I see what they do, and I literally just study them. And I also have some ex coworkers of mine that used to be on the same team as myself that started a company. I won't name them on our podcast, but they literally focus on just different ransomware variants and decrypting whatever encryption methods they're using.
Wow, that's awesome. That
So,
I was. Oh
so I
man,
work. So I work with them sometimes.
oof,
I'm
that's
still
incredible.
busy.
I was just gonna, that made me think about like, and I gotta find out. I mean, what's one of the craziest things that you have seen? Like, I can't believe this is happening right now. If you don't mind, like something that you saw, like, wow, this is like,
You mean in
this is
terms of the
bad.
case?
Yeah, like a case, something that's bad. Like, oh my god, I've never seen something like this, or something.
Obviously, don't mention any names or
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything.
no names,
there was
just
a
something.
a case that I worked fairly early on in my career. Um, fairly early on in my incident response career, and the case was 7 months. It was grueling. It was a
Oof.
heavyweight fight. We threw everything we had at it. Um, the organization had already had a very big IR firm, a very big, well known international IR firm there that performed an investigation over 90 days, and the threat actors were persistent. They were still there. They were still taking a loss at what the threat actors weren't eradicated from the environment. So we ended up coming there with our team. We pulled in every resource. We had multiple organizations there. Everyone had different tasks. Um, the organization is a very huge organization, big money organization. They make a ton of revenue. But we worked that case for 7 months, and I actually found the pivot. So the pivot was, I noticed a lot of activity was coming from an internal host, and we couldn't tell exactly what they were doing. So we used a tool that literally allowed us to record the commands and the session as the activity occurred from that host. Literally, you can see everything that was happening real time on that host. And ultimately, what we determined is that large organization had a team of third party developers that was stealing millions of dollars from them
Wow.
every month. Millions of
Oh,
dollars. Millions. I
so
mean,
like an inside job.
definitely an insider threat for sure.
Oh,
So they thought they were dealing, the original IR firm said this was an external threat, right? Because the organization was so large, they didn't really understand what they were dealing with. Um, and they handed a report to the client, but they didn't explain how they really got there. And the report that we reviewed was very generic.
yeah. Yeah.
So us being there for 7 months, you can imagine how large the report was, especially considering you had to compile this report from multiple organizations which had different roles, and we all worked together.
Yeah. Wow.
So we had all these genius people within the organization. You know, During that time, there were multiple internal employees that weren't third party developers, internal employees that were let go because most of this activity happened right under their nose. So it was inevitable, that there was going to be someone internal that was let go. So that was a little bit different for me because I worked many investigations, but I never witnessed the work that I was doing causing someone to lose their job.
Yeah, that's brutal. But I mean, listen, it's you're finding it. It's not like you're just making it up and you want somebody to get in trouble. You're like, look,
Right.
here's the evidence, like you mentioned before. It's evidence.
It was
Here it is. That's it.
correct.
Wow, that's
So
crazy. Oof.
from that investigation alone, I'll say I probably have another 15 personal friends that I don't even work with. I don't do any IT cyber work with at all. They're actually friends. Because when I say within those 7 months, we're breathing every virus each other have. I mean, everything. If you have it, I have it. We were, I
You
mean,
guys are a team.
shoulder.
Yes.
Yes.
You're like you mentioned before, it's like the Navy SEALs. You guys are in it together as one, and you have to work together as one, or else it doesn't work. So yeah, that's incredible. Wow.
I think it's very indicative of the company as a whole, though, as well. I mean, it's how we choose to partner with our customers. That's what we mean by partnership. Is we're in this with you. We're up to our necks in it with you. We've got our sleeves rolled up. We're shoveling the same as you to try and make that work for you. And that's that's quite powerful. Again, it's something we don't necessarily talk about or champion. We talk about the whizzy bits, the flashy lights, and the fancy pieces. But this is the bit that matters for most people. Certainly, in the last 3 years, the major deals we've done in international have all been about customers who want to become part of our family and want us to become part of them. And as you say, Quentin, that's how we do business. That's exactly how we operate. We're going to embed ourselves with you to get the job done.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think what we're moving towards is we don't really care what's in the customer's environment anymore because we always say, oh, I remember when we first started supporting some of those best of breed technologies, like, oh, here we got the logos, right? Who cares about that stuff? Really, it's great that we support them, but at the end of the day, we don't care what's in the customer's environment. We want to become part of their team, and that's how we're going to be successful in what we do. Going forward, not only just protecting their environment from learning from that stuff, but giving it to everyone and sharing that with everyone. I think where we're going and what we're doing, I think it's going to change. I think our actual talk track is going to change, right? I mean, here's what we're doing for you. And it's the teams. It's the teams that make everything work. And a lot of our competitors out there, I don't think I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm not saying they don't have great teams over there, but they don't do it the way we do it. They just don't. And I think that
No, and this, as Quentin said,
Yeah.
the experience becomes different. You
exactly.
don't remain in touch with these people for that length of time when you've only been engaged with them a short period of time. To me, that's as if some of the aspects of my career where you go in almost like a contractor and you're there for a short period of time and you're embedded with the teams and you drag them along to this new level. And you lift them up to that new level, and then all of a sudden your time is up and you're out. And those guys are still congratulating me and sending me stuff, and I congratulate them and send them stuff, and I haven't seen them and spoken to them in years. It's almost like that sort of contractor attitude, which is very, very rare.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's important. And I think, like I said, that's the teams. The teams bring it all together.
I mean, obviously, Quentin, for you, sports wasn't going to be a future because of the injuries. Obviously, it's still your mental health activity as we have our own. What got you interested in this market? What attracted you first into the space?
Yeah, definitely. So again, I grew up in inner city Detroit. Financially, we didn't, have much. I wasn't, from a super impoverished family, but because we had a large family, and I was blessed to have an uncle that when I was really small, 3, 4, 5 years old, spent an extensive period of time in Japan. So when he came back to the States, he came back and he's just like, in a couple of years, the internet is going to be this big thing. And I was 6 years old and I had a computer. And most people where I came from had never even seen a computer. That was super far fetched. We're talking early 90s. So super early 90s. So I started to work on the computer, just not just browsing or playing games. I really started to try to understand the computer at 7, 8 years old. I started programming in middle school. I started learning SQL databases 8th grade because my uncle had connected me with. It's funny. So being from Detroit, Canada is right across the water. You can be in Canada in 15 minutes, where I came from. So there was a guy out of Windsor, Ontario, that was a big programmer for a bank there. And this guy did a lot of work with my uncle. They were doing their own thing. And I started to learn Python really well. So, eighth grade going into ninth grade, I was again blessed to go away from Detroit, and I went to a prep school where I stayed in the dorms. And I actually had a professor there that was actually from Ukraine. Um, and he kind of took me under his wing. I spent a lot of time, again, I stayed in the dorm. So I spent a lot of time with him, just learning stuff. And I actually started compromising SQL databases and changing grades.
What?
Yeah, so that's
No,
how
you didn't.
that's
No,
how
you
it
didn't.
started.
Yes,
This
you
is not
did.
recorded. Yeah, take that out. Make
It's
sure you
okay
cut that out.
because
Yeah.
I'm on the right side of the fence now, so I can talk about that. And I definitely paid my debts. I stayed
Yeah.
when it was discovered. I stayed. I had to stay on campus over the summer and uh, do a lot of yard work and grounds maintenance and
There you go.
up. So then after that, when I got to college, I already knew what I was doing. So regardless of whether I made it with basketball or not, I knew what I was going to do because I'd already been doing it. A lot of the courses that I had when I was in college, I just tested out of them. I didn't actually sit in the classroom. I tested them. I took the exams and tested out of them until they got really complex. And then I started to sit in the class. So that really helped me because being on the road playing basketball, you don't really have time for a real major like that because I was a double major. So um, it was really time invasive. So yeah, that's kind of how I came to the point of being in not just IT and specifically cybersecurity. I've been in cybersecurity since I
Wow.
was 14.
Long time.
Yeah, since I was 14,
Wow.
15. So coming
That's
from that,
incredible.
from
What do you
unheard of.
what do you think it? I mean, is it your uncle? Do you think it was that professor? What? How did they build that? Was there anything obvious then how they treated you and what built that desire in you to drive forward? Or
Yeah, definitely. So coming from Detroit, you have a small subset of people that you see as successful people with your own eyes. Unfortunately, most of the successful people, financially successful people that I see with my own eyes are doing criminal things. Okay, so if I see a person, especially a relative, with my own eyes that's being successful and he's doing it a certain way, which was my uncle, then it's like, okay, how can I be like my uncle or better?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so cybersecurity was always my path if I didn't make it with basketball, because with basketball, I mean, I was always ranked top 20 in the state. I was, I spent a lot of time playing basketball. I traveled the world playing basketball as a youngster. So everyone thought I would have made it, but I had a contingency plan because my reality was you may not make it because something may happen. People always tell me that as a youngster. My older brother and my father, which you can kind of see back there on the camera, that's my dad back there. A lot of people have, um, whoever their hero was in their office. If they don't have their background, they have their hero. That's my hero right there. So, you know, my dad raised me to have a contingency plan where you have a vision in your mind of what you want to, how you want to achieve success, but you need to have a contingency plan should that initial plan doesn't work.
Life happens. I mean,
Right,
things
right.
happen. What are
it's
you
a
going to
very
do?
it's a very mature attitude, Quentin.
Yeah.
It's a very it's I'm fascinated by how you've grasped that very early on.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because
Most people don't.
a lot of kids don't,
Yeah.
regardless of their
Especially not
upbringing or
now.
where they
It's
come from.
changed. It's changed.
My kid's in seventh grade, my youngest boy, and let me tell you something. He's like, I'm going to become an MLB. I'm a MLB player, a professional baseball player. I'm like, yeah. And you don't want to go to college, and you hate going to school. So how are you going to do this? Yeah, you can be great at sports, but what do you want to do? And it's funny. Most of the kids said they have no clue.
They just want to be famous.
And I honestly think a lot of the stuff, and it's not. I'm not just saying parenting. Maybe parenting has something to do with it too, but times are different. You know, when I was in school, there was no internet, there was no social media,
Social
none of
media
that
is
shit.
it. Social media is it. That's it.
Exactly.
It's social
If I
media.
wanted to do something with my friends, I'd call them up on the phone. That had a cord. It wasn't even cordless. Hey, listen, what are you guys doing? I'll be over. I'll meet you. I'll walk over and we'll meet each other here. Boom, done. That was it. We were walking around. We were doing stuff. And you know what? Today, I'm glad I'm not young like the kids today, because I got to tell you, it's brutal. With social media is really, really bad. I mean, I know we have a lot of social media platforms. It can be used for good, but for young kids, man, it's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's negatively impacting this generation, just because how social media is used and the messages that are sent to this generation, to this next generation. The reality of life is impacting the generation, and also, when you have, because you guys are successful, so when you have when your parents are successful, they make life easier on you, right? So you never really experience hunger, and your work ethic is impacted. So when you never really experience that hunger, and you don't really have to work hard for something because you know your parent is going to be able to provide it for you, and you sit there and look at social media where you see, oh, they have it this way, then you, your picture for what life is going to be like
distorted.
is tainted.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this is what it boils down to, isn't it? I mean, this is, to me, it's social media is just convenience, and that convenience robs you of that hard work. And without realizing the effort you've had to put in, something you've had to work really hard for holds real value for you because you put real hard work in. But our industry is hard work. That's all it is. It's about people putting in the hard work. It's not about tools. It's not about toys. It's not about products. It's not about whatever. It's
It's the
about
people.
people,
Yeah.
their experience, and exerting that experience through hard work to come to the conclusion that's going to drive the result the customer wants.
Yeah. I think, you know what, honestly, I can tell you this, Quentin, I think your daughters are lucky to have you as a father, because I think you're going to really direct them in the path where they need to go. And honestly, I could say that because some parents, I've seen some of them, some parents and their neighbors and stuff,
It's rough.
I feel bad
Yeah,
for their
it's rough.
kids. Yeah. I feel bad for their kids. You're right. Because you're right. They help them out with everything. They don't let them, you don't want your kids to suffer, but you want them to learn, because at the end of the day, we're not growing up children. We're growing up adults. You're growing them to become adults to make it in the world, no matter what they want to do. But we baby them too much. I mean, it's crazy. I remember in sports too, and we were talking about sports before, when my kids were younger, everybody got an award and everything. That's bullshit. Right? Listen, if you were second place, you're second place. That's
Second
it.
place.
You didn't win.
You have to understand that second place is not winning.
Exactly.
Not winning.
Exactly.
You
Listen,
need to become first.
right. And you know what? You gotta work hard to get there. That's it. And my boys, I have he's now 17 and a 6-year-old. So he's playing varsity baseball and he's pitching, which is tough. But we go to pitching coaches every week. He's there. We go to hitting coaches for both boys every week. They're doing that stuff. So we're giving them their tools. But I got to tell you, there was a point we got to with the kids like, look, if you don't want this, that's okay. We're not going to keep spending all this money because it's a fortune.
Expensive.
It's
I know
expensive.
it's expensive.
But they work hard. I could see the drive in them and they really, truly want it. So it's like, listen, I don't mind doing that with you guys. And it's, and they have to work for it though. We're not just going to say, here you go, boys, go do it. Listen, you want to go to hitting practice? You want to do this? You got stuff that you have to do first. You have to make sure you follow these things like schoolwork, and you have to be, whatever they're doing. We don't want to just give it to them. They have to understand they have to work for it to get those things. Right. And it's not easy. I get it. But, I think your girls are lucky for sure. And, that's awesome. It's awesome to see and hear. And what an amazing story. I would have, like Andy, when we do these, I have no idea where this story is going to go.
Yeah,
And
and
the things we learn, it's inspirational about the people we work with.
I keep saying it. Until we dig a little bit, we're not going to understand how fascinating each of these individuals are
Right.
in this company that make this company up. We are blessed to be here. We are here because of who we are and how hard we work, and we all work bloody hard. Excuse my language. This is what it's about. I want these people on my team because no one's going to work harder.
So
we're not cheap. We're not the cheapest. We're not the most expensive. Now, hang on. Sorry, John. Before you go, I don't want to wander off on too many tangents because Quentin's story is fascinating. You've had a great start. You were mentored very sensitively, and that has led you to this. Your contingency planning is spectacular. I truly wish I could do that. I can't. I still can't. But notwithstanding, I've got a partner who does, and that means I don't have to so much. But where you are now, knowing what you know now, understanding your path to get here, what advice would you give your younger self? More for the audience than for you, because I think how you've handled what you've handled to get where you are is spot on.
Incredible.
I can't see any other way of doing that as gracefully as you have. But what would you advise somebody who was thinking about getting into this space? Where should they start?
So that's two different phases. So you said, what would I tell my younger self, and what would I tell someone really trying to get into this space? Someone that's trying to get into this space, let's start there. Is that person's path, is it similar to mine? Or is it just a regular person with a regular life?
Could just be a regular person that's suddenly gone, I'm fascinated by this. How do I get into it?
I would always tell them to reach out to an expert, someone that they can get access to, speak to someone and really understand what it's like, what the life is like. Because what I do is very focused. What you guys do is very focused, right? But IT and cybersecurity in general is very broad. You can do a million
tons of stuff,
things, right? So I would always tell that person that wants to get into this line of work to really know exactly what it is that you want to do. Because you can be a dev, you can be in SecOps, you can be an OffSec, you can be a blue teamer, you can be a purple teamer, you can be a million things. You can be a network engineer, you can be a network analyst. I mean, you can be an IR, you can be some type of architect. You can be a million things. So I would say speak to someone or speak to multiple people to understand what it's like and what they really do before you say that I'm going to take that approach and I'm going to go to school and do this.
Right.
Because what I had happen to me was I had two relatives that just how I watched my uncle, and I wanted to be something like a variation of my uncle or have, some of what he had. I have two younger cousins that both just recently graduated college that watched me and said they wanted a life like me.
That's inspirational for sure.
Cool. Yeah. Well, one of them got to school and started taking the coursework and just decided that this isn't for me. The other one said, this is very difficult, but I'm challenged, so I'm going to work towards it. And he's working a path to get to where he needs to get. One went left and one went right. But what they both did was had a conversation with me, and I told them both transparently, like, it may not be what you think it is. You're not just going to sit on your ass all day. Like, you may physically sit on your ass all day looking at a computer, but it's intense. It's very intense on the mind. It can be intense on your body, period. Like, it can weigh on you. So someone trying to get in, I would say, find a resource where you can speak to someone that's really in the field and talk to them. Just have a transparent conversation with them about what a day in the life looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
No,
So like,
go ahead.
taking a time machine back for yourself.
Hang on, John. Let Quentin go with the second bit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, taking a time machine, talking to yourself, say, "Hey, listen, what would you do?"
Um, I would take a somewhat different approach. So most people tell you to move with your heart, but I would say if I was speaking to a younger self of mine, move with your gut rather than your heart, because there were certain things that I dealt with in my life that could have been completely avoided if I moved with my gut rather than an emotion. So go with that gut feeling rather than allowing emotions to overcome the decision making.
Yeah, yeah, that's good advice. That's
That's
for
that's
sure.
that's and if I told my younger self that and I really understood what that meant, I think that I could have gotten to wherever it was that I was trying to get much quicker.
Did you want to elaborate on one of those
Yeah, so
instances?
I
There
speak
you go.
I speak
No,
in
no, you don't have to. You don't
I
have to if you
will.
No,
don't
we're gonna
want
put
to.
you on
But
the spot. Let's know.
I
Yeah.
will. I'm very proud of where I come from and how I got here. So when I was younger, my my first scholarship to school was lost because something happened to me because I surrounded myself with some bad people. I thought that those bad people that I've been knowing for a very long time had my best interest, and not everyone did. Because coming from an area where most people are living in poverty and all they know is struggle, there's a lot of jealousy.
Yeah.
So when
Yep.
you have someone that surrounds you that you see they're achieving success, sometimes you'll do anything to take away that person's success. And I allowed that to happen. I allowed someone into my space that impacted the time of my success. They didn't kill my success, but they impacted it.
Yep. Yep.
So my
Hmm.
path to success became different. I still got another scholarship because I'm blessed. Um, but I dealt with um, I put my family through a lot of pain because they were worried about losing me. Nothing legal, but I dealt with a lot. So I had to take a different approach. My trust was impacted. So it's because of what happened when I was 17, 18 years old. You kind of put up a barrier where trust is not very easy for you. And some people say that's not a good thing, but it can be, especially when the kind of world that we live in is a very it's a tough world. It's a very tough world that we live in. So being able to read people is very important. I was very trusting in people when I was young because I was naive that someone right in my face could really try to harm me.
Right. Right.
But because I learned those lessons at a young age, I learned how to handle relationships and people better and read people better, which to this day helps me with my job.
Yeah. Yep.
I know,
100%.
when I'm listening to bullshit, and I know when I'm looking at someone and they're telling me something that I shouldn't be hearing.
Yeah. And honestly, there's probably two sides to that coin because if you didn't go through those experiences, it shaped who you are today. And it probably made you that stronger individual today, not only for work, but your personal life, your family life, all those different things. It makes you who you are today. And I think I thought about that question, Annie, when we talked about it. Like, what would I tell my younger self? And I'd be like, oh, don't do this or try to avoid this. But at the end of the day, if I didn't experience that, would I be doing and be the same person I am today? Right. See, the thing you mentioned is that, look, it just slowed you down. It didn't change what you were going to do or how you focused on something. So that's a difference. Some people will get derailed and do something totally different, where you still had that focus because of your environment, like with your uncle, like you mentioned, and things like that, where really, you were able to step out and say, that's not right. I'm gonna, and you followed your gut. Instead, I'm going to do it this way. That's what it seems like, right? So that's important that you had that ability. And I think even experiencing those things today, it really truly makes you that solid individual today that, you have the patience to listen to people screaming at you when they're yelling at you for this incident. And then you finally let them vent. And then you patiently help them, even though they're screaming at you. Most people, honestly, I've seen today can't do that. There are people that can't do that. You start yelling at me, I'm going to be like, well, don't forget it. I'm done with you. I don't want to deal with it. I don't need to deal with it. But you can't afford to do that because it's your job to listen to what they're saying. So going through that stuff, to be honest with you, I think it really shaped you as the individual. And it's an incredible story. I got to tell you, I'm totally fascinated. I can sit here and talk to you all day.
Yeah, no, and we've
It's
touched on this, haven't we? And this is the challenge, I think, for the kids nowadays is you have to explore those interpersonal relationships so you can start to pick up when you can smell BS and when you can't. You've got to be able to recognize when someone's telling you the truth and when they're not. You have to have experience on which to base those decisions. If you don't have those experiences, if you don't put yourself out to fail, how are you going to learn how to win? If you don't know what failure tastes like. And to your point, Quentin, the kids today, and we're going to give our kids what we didn't have as kids. 100%, of course, we are. But there has to be a degree of they have to earn it. And my two do. They're doing spectacularly well. They're both on touchwood. They're on course for firsts in their first rounds. So I'm chuffed to bits. They're 21 and 22 now. But the more we coddle and wrap them and remove them from that interaction capability, the less they have the ability to understand what good looks like and what good doesn't look like. And that's difficult. It's tough. And this is you're to your point, Quentin. This is very difficult for them. They've got to find a mentor a resource that they absolutely trust. But if they don't have a measure of what that trust means, it's going to be very difficult for them to select an individual.
Yeah. Wow. What a fascinating story. My God. Incredible. Quentin, I got to tell you, I'm floored. I think it's an amazing story to see where you've come and what you're doing and stuff. It's amazing.
What is the future? I mean, just briefly, Quentin, for you, what does the future hold within the team?
What does the future hold within the team at eSentire?
Mm-hmm.
So, just being transparent, Carrie asked me the same question because I know Carrie. And Carrie asked me the same question 3 years ago. What would you guess my answer was?
That's a good question. What do I think you would say? Listen, I think we're just going to keep driving forward and just trying to keep being, I guess just keep driving forward and trying to always stay ahead of the things we're doing, learning from our experiences and just making us better. Something along those lines, maybe. I don't know.
I told him pretty much that, but I also told him I want what he asked.
There you go. See, that's the way. There you go.
Like I told him that. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, because he's the CEO of an organization that I admire, and his path. He didn't get it overnight. He worked for it, and he's a good dude. I've known. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I know how he is. I know a little bit about him personally, and he's a good dude. So I just straight up told him I want what you have. Now my path is probably going to be different because I'm a little bit more technical. So it may not, the whole C-level side is a little bit different for me because I'm a more technical guy. But yeah, I mean, because he oversees an organization that provides a lot of opportunity for a lot of different people over the world, and we're also protecting a lot of different organizations. And ultimately, that's my role within my family. I'm the CEO of my family, even though I'm much younger than so many different relatives within my family. I am the CEO of my family. I'm the leader of my family. So having an organization such as eSentire under my umbrella that would be something that ultimately that's an end goal for me. And after that, it's retirement.
Yep. He probably was floored when you said that to him. He's like, whoa. But you know what? Some people don't have the courage to say that.
He wasn't surprised, actually.
Yep. Oh, no.
He wasn't surprised.
Well, there you go. That's awesome.
Did he give you any advice?
No, he did.
Did you ask?
No, he
There
did.
you go. Right. That's fascinating. That's great. Wow. Well, Quentin, I'm gonna let Randy wrap this up, but it was fascinating. Thank you for taking the time with us. Really, it's been truly an honor and a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Quentin. An absolutely driven individual. The right person we wanted to have on, 100%. Thank you, Hernan, for recommending. Outstanding. You're an inspiration, sir. Thank you very much. John, any parting words?
Honestly, like you mentioned, truly inspiration. It really, it makes me, again, just verifies the feeling I have at eSentire, the people and the teams. This is why I'm here. I love the people. I love what we do. Everybody says they do this or do that, but it's the individuals that we get to chat with and talk to. They're part of a family. And it's just something you'll never find anywhere else. And it inspires me to do what I do every day too. And I love it. I love getting up every day and who am I going to talk to today? What am I going to do today? Even some of our partners in the community that we deal with, to me, I love it. It's truly like, it's inspirational for me, but your story and your inspiration it just sets me to another level, to be totally honest with you. It sounds a little strange, but it's true, my friend. It's awesome. And I'm really glad to have got to chat with you today and get to know you better. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, definitely.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Quentin. Listen, I'll wrap this then. And if you want to hold on when we've finished, that would be great. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. The Cyber Culture Cafe is part of the Cyber Talks podcast presented by eSentire, the authority in managed detection and response. Learn how eSentire's next level MDR service can help you strengthen your security program and build cyber resilience. Visit eSentire.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thank you, everybody.